He walked into the store just to buy a gift. But what happened next shocked the entire town. The owner's pride was about to cost him everything. It all started on a quiet afternoon in Atlanta, Georgia. Marcus, a successful entrepreneur in his early 30s, had one simple mission that day: to buy an anniversary gift for his mom. She'd sacrificed everything to raise him, and now that he had the means, he wanted to make her feel like a queen. So he drove downtown to one of the most luxurious shopping districts in the city, a place lined with designer brands and high-end boutiques. Marcus walked in with a smile, dressed casually in jeans and a sweatshirt, thinking about how proud his mom would be. But what he didn't know was that this trip would become one of the most humiliating experiences of his life. As soon as Marcus stepped inside the boutique, the energy shifted. The store was bright, elegant, with glass shelves showcasing handbags that cost more than most people's rent. He walked toward the display, scanning for the perfect piece. Then, he felt it, eyes burning into his back. He turned around and saw him, the store owner, a tall man in an expensive suit, glaring at Marcus like he didn't belong there. Marcus smiled politely and nodded, but the man didn't smile back. Instead, he walked over and said, in the coldest voice imaginable, "Can I help you, sir? We don't usually get this kind of visitor here." Marcus froze for a second, confused. This kind of visitor? What did that even mean? He brushed it off and replied calmly, "Yeah, I'm looking for something nice for my mom. Maybe a handbag." The owner's eyes flicked from Marcus's sneakers to his sweatshirt, and then back to his face. He smirked. "Sir, everything here is extremely expensive. Maybe you should try somewhere more affordable." Marcus felt a wave of heat rise in his chest. He wanted to say something, but he stayed calm. "I can afford it," he said softly. "Just show me what you have." But the owner didn't move. Instead, he laughed under his breath and said loud enough for the other customers to hear, "Look, I don't have time for this. Please leave before I call security." Everyone turned to look. Marcus's heart sank. He felt a deep sting of humiliation as whispers filled the room. Without another word, he walked out. But as he stepped onto the sidewalk, one thought kept echoing in his mind. He doesn't even know who I am. He doesn't know what I've built. He judged me for my skin, for my clothes, for nothing. And in that moment, Marcus made a decision. He wasn't going to let this slide. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He kept replaying the scene in his head. The smirk, the laughter, the humiliation. Then, he opened his laptop and started typing. Marcus wasn't just any man. He owned a chain of tech companies, employed hundreds of people, and had connections with major investors in the city. He decided to use his resources, not for revenge, but for justice. The next morning, Marcus called a friend who worked in real estate. "Hey, I need you to check something for me," he said. Turns out, the luxury store Marcus had visited was actually leasing their space. And guess what? Their lease was about to expire in 30 days. Marcus smiled for the first time since yesterday. Perfect. By the end of the week, Marcus's company had signed the papers for that very property. Yes, you heard that right. He bought the lease. And when the ink dried, Marcus was officially the new landlord of that building. The next day, Marcus put on his best suit and walked back into that same boutique. The bell chimed as he entered, and the owner looked up, clearly annoyed. "You again? I told you." But before he could finish, Marcus slid a folder across the counter. "You might want to read this," Marcus said calmly. The owner frowned, opened the folder, and his face went pale. Inside was the new lease agreement, with Marcus's name at the top. "As of today," Marcus said with a steady voice, "I own this property, and you have 30 days to pack up and leave." The store fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. The owner stammered, wait, we can work something out." But Marcus shook his head. "No, I gave you a chance yesterday to treat me with respect. You chose arrogance instead. Now, I choose justice." Marcus turned and walked out, leaving the owner speechless. A month later, that luxury store was gone. And in its place, a beautiful community boutique, one that sold designer items but treated everyone with dignity, no matter who they were. Marcus even started a scholarship fund in his mother's name, right from the profits of that store. Because here's the truth: respect costs nothing. And when you judge someone by their appearance, you might just lose everything. What would you have done if you were Marcus? Have you ever experienced something like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. And remember, kindness is the ultimate luxury.